Hey everybody, I'm Ubercoo, and today I'm going to be reviewing Captain Ron. The thing that sticks out to me most about this film is basically the name from when I was a kid. It reminds me of, there was a scene in particular that stands out where Martin Stewart's panicking, he calls out, and the way he says it, it's, Captain Ron, Captain Ron. Right, I thought that was always funny, and it always stuck with me. So I decided to make a review of it. Um, to begin, this is a movie that was released in 1992. It was directed by Thom Eberhardt, who also helped write the screenplay, along with John Dwyer, who came up with the credit as story and screenplay. It stars Martin Short, Kurt Russell, Mary Kay Place as the wife. There's also the son, uh, Ben, and his real name is also Ben Salisbury, and his daughter is Meadow Sisto. I looked to see if they were any other films a lot. There were kid actors. Ben was in the third Mighty Ducks movie, and then she was in Can't Hardly Wait as the hippie girl. Let's see. Oh, so to start off with, the character of Martin Short is he's like this kind of a he's an uptight dude, right? He plays like this uptight business professional from Chicago, and that's actually another thing too. I want to point out is in Chicago, he comes from that group. Was it the Second City group? I think, or was it maybe the Groundlings? One of them two, and which is based in Chicago, right? Second City is, and there's always a reference I noticed in these early films like this of between like either Martin Short or John Hughes or like a John Candy movie or something like that. They have, or like the Blues Brothers is another one based in Chicago. It's all part of that they have that reference, right? They always try to put a reference into Chicago. Um, he is yeah, so he's married with his wife. He's got two kids, and um, come to find out, he gets a letter or a will about from his uncle, who died and basically just left him a boat down in an island. And his uncle disappeared back in 1962. No one's really heard from him until now, and then finds out about the boat. So then he convinces his wife to go get it, and they go down there with the kids, and she's kind of hesitant at first, but he convinces her that basically their kids need more life experiences and things like that. The son is a there's not the kid. Let me say this: the kids don't really have a lot of character development. Um, the son is just playing a son, and then the daughter is just really. Actually, let me say this: she plays a character like what's her name from Married with Children, the daughter from Married with Children, Christina Applegate. Like her character in that show is basically her character in this movie. Um, like kind of just really flirtatious, kind of slutty, and like the first scene you see with her, she's with her boyfriend, and the boyfriend's like both of them actually are in this like early '90s leather outfit, and like it's this late '80s punk, early '90s grunge look, and then like she says that she's getting married, she's engaged to this dude, and then that's when the parents look at each other, and it cuts to the island, because they obviously don't want her to get married. Um, he is um, trying to keep it together with his family, and then he goes down there. They they find out about the boat, and the boat itself is all run down. It's not what from an old picture what it used to look like. Um, and then here comes Kurt Russell. He's in this beat up car. Now, one of the things I do want to point out is that there's a lot of homages to Snake Plissken, because like Captain Ron, he's got the one eye patch, and then like when he shows up in the car, the car only has one headlight. He's missing the left headlight, like his left eye. And like later in the film, there's another car chase scene, and like the car Captain Ron's driving is also missing the left headlight as well. So I just want to put those out there. You can check on IMDb. There's a lot of continuity flaws and like, I mean, if you really want to go into the nitpicking of the movie, it's out there. I'm not trying not to dive into it. The only real plot hole that I noticed was like later in the film, and I'll get to that. But Captain Ron basically rushes them on the boat because he's actually being chased by some other guy that we don't know, because Captain Ron slept with his wife, and he's like trying to get them on the boat to like escape. Meanwhile, the car that he arrived in, the brakes went out, and like it just rolls right into the ocean. And he's like, "Oh shit!" And it wasn't even his car; it was the other dude's car. Right? He basically stole the other car. He's just like this anti-hero, right? He's like this criminal guy, but you don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. He's very charismatic, and that's really his main charm. Um, they get on the boat, and I'll say this: they go from like island to island. They say which islands they go to. I couldn't keep up with them, to be honest. It was just because the way the structure of the movie is, they rely a lot on the action more than the development. Like, okay, this thing happens, and then this thing happens, and then this thing happens, and this thing happens, and then that's the end of the movie. There wasn't a lot of like arcing storytelling. There wasn't a lot of overpassing. You know what I'm saying? Like in football, you do the pass. I'm horrible at sports, but anyway. So when they're on the boat, then there's a like at first Martin Short is impressed by Captain Ron, because he was able to park the boat a particular way, and just like kind of what he knows and things like that, and like, but he's also dumb, right? He's just this dude. He doesn't know any better. He's trying to take his word for it, right? Then Captain Ron starts like kind of hitting on his wife, and he sees that, and you know, um, he's not the greatest influence on his family. Um, let's see, Captain Ron is he starts playing Monopoly with the son, and gets him to start drinking a beer. That's the other thing too I want to point out is because this movie was made in '92, it was under Disney Touchstone, and it was supposed to be actually a Disney film. And you can see that throughout the film, right? There's like moments of typical lighthearted Disney moments, but then there's like actual like adult themes throughout. Like there's a brief nudity scene. You get to see his ex-wife in the shower, and or not ex-wife. I shouldn't say ex-wife. He sees his wife. You see the audience sees the wife in the shower, and there's basically a nude scene there. It's brief, but it's there. And another part is having the son drink, and he's like probably 10, so underage drinking is another one. There is there's just more adult themes that they basically said, okay, we watched the film, we can't release this under Disney, so it's got to go over to Touchstone. From that, let's see, I want to point out was there's various hijinks that happens throughout the film. They go from like island to island to island, and then like, as the story progresses, the Martin Short starts to like mistrust him. He sees Captain Ron hitting on his wife, and he just starts questioning that. And then meanwhile, she's falling for it, and thinking at first she didn't trust him, and then so those roles were reversed, right? She learns to trust him, and then he learns to distrust him. There's when they go from island to island, I noticed this thing about this movie is that it was made for a particular audience of like this family guy of like 1992, and the side characters are really flat. Basically, there's like, it's not like Captain Ron meets a dude, a local who's like a good guy, and he's got dialogue with him. There's nothing like that. It's literally uh, the scenes or the people in the scenes on the side are just there for the story. It's not like they're stereotypical and it's just flat, you know. Uh, there is funny movie. I want to say this because it sounds like I'm just shitting on the movie, but there are funny scenes in this movie. There are just hijinks, like the scene in the shower where they get stuck in the shower and Captain Ron has to let them out. Um, when Captain Ron talks about the gorillas and the moments with the kid, and that's funny. Um, the physical comedy of Martin Short. There's like this recurring joke of him falling off the boat a couple times. So there's that. There's another one. There's another recurring joke about Captain Ron saying something like, "That's okay, boss. It happens to everybody," and he just says it over and over again, like throughout the film. It's kind of funny. Let me think. What else? They make a trade deal with like some local gorillas on an island, and then in order to basically Captain Ron makes the deal. He said, he's like, what happens is Captain Ron gets lost on an island. He buys everybody lunch, and then Martin Short gets mad and then walks off onto a trail in the jungle. And then Captain Ron tells him, look out for gorillas. And Martin Short thinks like gorillas don't live on this island; they live in Africa, right? And he's like, "Okay, I'm just warning you," And he doesn't believe him, and then he gets kidnapped by gorillas. Now, one of the things you don't see is how he escapes. You just hear about it in the dialogue after in the cutscene. They're like, well, he had to trade with them to get him released, and the trade was the gorillas would have to be on board on the boat to go to a different island, like I think it was Puerto Rico, and but they would also give him guns, right? So then Martin Short sees the guns and totally against it, throws the guns overboard, but he can't give the guns back now to then cancel the deal with the gorillas, and so he's stuck with them over that trip. There is the daughter is like every time there's like a new local that comes up, whether it's the gorillas or like or some local boy, she's just really flirtatious. Again, her character's kind of flat. So there's not much. I'm not going to go much into it. Honestly, if you know Kelly Bundy from Married with Children, you know this character from this movie. Let's see. There's let me think of another scene here. There's a funny scene actually in the when they're on the ocean and they're in the thunderstorm, and this is the moment actually when Martin Sheen gets just snaps and gets really pissed at Captain Ron. He's talking about like at least we have our map and our compass. At least we can get there. As long as we have those, we can get through this thunderstorm. And then Martin Short says something about the map, and then Captain Ron says, "Oh, you want the map?" And he pulls it out of his pocket, and then it just goes flying off into the wind. And then he's like, "Well, at least we still have our compass." And then like the compass flies off. Now, mind you, the boat itself is just raggedy. It hasn't been taken care of much and things like that. So that's a recurring joke in the film of like the boat just keeps breaking down from dry rot. That Captain Ron says, "Oh, look at that, more dry rot." um, then they go to another island. I think it was like St. Croix, I think. And no, it was when they get to Puerto Rico. That's when they have to stop for more gas after the thunderstorm, and the parents and the kids they get split up. The parents, they actually wind up in jail because Martin Short tells one of the local police about the gorillas, and like luckily the State Department agent gets there and sets them free, but he says that they're banned from the island, they can't come back. During that time when they're in jail, then the kids, the girl, she takes off with some dude. You never see what happens, and then the boy, he's with Captain Ron. Captain Ron loses his eye. He's got a fake eye, and like then it cuts back to them back in jail, and then they leave jail. They're heading back to. They're getting an escort back to the boat. Not even thinking about the kids. Um, then they find there's a big party going on at the boat, by Captain Ron, and then the kids are there. Come to find out, the daughter got a tattoo and doesn't want to say where it's at. It's in a private area. Um, and then the son shows up also with a tattoo of like an eagle or something like straight on his chest right here. He later admits that it's a fake one, but and the daughter is real. And then Captain Ron says, "Oh, it's good quality." Like it was just funny, like meaning that he saw the tattoo, but the dad didn't. There's let's see what else. There's a recurring joke about Martin Short falling off the boat a couple times. That's another thing I want to point out. Oh, so when they get back to the boat, basically after being arrested, that's when they fire Captain Ron and leave him at the island, and they take off. In that process, they find out that Captain Ron was actually in the middle of a strip poker game with this other girl, with Ben, and the girl has a boyfriend who turns out to be a pirate. Then, thus filling the arc of the Pirates of the Caribbean joke made in the earlier in the film. They are basically chased around from pirates. I'm really skimming ahead now. Let me think what else happened. So when they escape from, they fire Captain Ron. They go out on the boat. Then the pirates catch up to them and they steal the boat, leaving the family on this raft. Now here's where it starts to break down in the story. There's this plot hole of they wind up in Cuba, and somehow Captain Ron gets to Cuba and saves them from the pirates. They're on this chase scene, and then I was going to talk about this. This is the same scene where he's the car itself that he's doing the chase scene in is missing the left headlight, which is a callback to the eye patch he wears, and then even then, that's a callback to Snake Plissken. Let's see what else. There's Captain Ron's able to distract the pirates in the car chase, and then also drop off Martin Short at the boat, who's able to get the boat started, and then they manage to elude the pirates just enough time so that way they can get to the boat. And then as they're leaving from the dock, then the pirates show up and they start running. Martin Short's he swings out like this mat. I'm gonna say this. I don't know much about boats or things like that, so I'm just gonna say the beam that holds the actual sail, the mast, I guess. He pushes that out, and then it hits all the guys out under the water from the dock and is saving them. But Captain Ron, in the process, says, they're not going to give up, and they're going to keep chasing after him. And now, there is, in that, just before that, Captain Ron is actually walking down the stairs into the cabin, and then, he trips or something, and then, he says he breaks his leg. And then, so then it's up to Martin Short to save his family. There's a scene earlier where they have where they all work together and they kind of figure out how to get the sail going and turn off the engines because they're running out of gas. This is before the thunderstorm, and so they're able to recall back to that and then show him be the hero, the captain, basically, and ordering his family to get the sails back up and to get them out of there. Meanwhile, Captain Ron finds a radio, like a hand radio, and is able to call for Mayday of the Coast Guard. They show up and save the day, and that's pretty much the end of the movie at that point. Back in the U.S., basically, and Captain Ron says he can't stay there. Some previous law, statutory law, or somebody didn't want to ask questions about. And so that's Captain Ron's story. He takes off. And then they have to make the decision: do they want to keep the boat or do they want to sell it? And they decide to keep the boat, and then start sailing away. At the end, and that's when it cuts to Kurt Russell, who looks different. And this time, he's got like a nicer outfit on. He's not like a beach bum. He looks like a dude with money, right? He's got like this overcoat and like a turtleneck and a chain of the early '90s, right? Um, and he's got his hair all pulled back, and he's talking to this other couple that you don't know. Um, and he does like the same joke about, "Don't worry about it, man. It happens to everybody." It's just really funny, right? Um, I will say it sounds like this overall review is bad. I don't want to say it's bad because the what the story in the actual writing could have been a lot better. Um, they tried to replace a lot of action and like, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this without any overarching arc. Just like mini arcs, in the film where they set it up like 2 minutes prior and then they paid off again. So that really like keeps it on a lower level. But there are funny moments in the film. I would say it's like a Sunday afternoon type movie. If you're bored and you want to throw something on, throw on Captain Ron. It's funny. It's got some funny scenes to it. Um, but I think that it's something that I remember, honestly. I wanted to review it and I wanted to rewatch it because when I was a kid, I remember it being funny. And then as an adult, obviously I see a little bit more. I still think it's funny. I still think it has comedic moments, and but it's not as funny as I remember it. Um, Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about. So, I'm just going to call it here. If you like it, if you like the review, let me know. If you think I'm full of shit, let me know. Hit the buttons, the likes, the subscribes, all the comments, all the things. And I'll see you guys later.